So, I need to tell you about this book that I just recently finished, and not because it's trending, not because it's on Book Talk. Um, Actually, nobody's talking about it, and I genuinely don't understand why. Um, it's called The Boy Who Belonged to the Sea by Denis Thériault. He's, I think he's a French Canadian writer. Uh, I don't think I've ever read a book like this before. The premise almost sounds whimsical. There's a boy named Luke who genuinely believes he belongs beneath the sea. He believes there's an underwater civilization called Fdan. He believes his mother came from there, and he believes one day he'll return there as well. Uh, the story isn't actually told from Luke's perspective, though. It's told by his best friend, a boy whose father died in an accident while his mother survives, but falls into a coma. So now you've got these two 12-year-old boys. One spends every day sitting beside his unconscious mother, reading to her, playing music she loves, opening the hospital windows so she can hear the sea, hoping she'll wake up. And the other spends every day dreaming about a mother he barely remembers. That's the novel. And somehow it became one of the most emotionally honest books I've read in a while. I went into this expecting magic realism. I came out thinking about grief, about parents, about friendship, about the stories we invent just to survive. And I think that's why it stayed with me, because nothing in this book ever feels exaggerated, even when it gets weird. Luke is one of those characters who completely changes the more you know him. At first, he's just this weird kid, the one who talks about mermaids, collects shells, believes dreams have answers. You're almost waiting for the book to tell you, oh, he's just eccentric. But it never does. Instead, it keeps peeling him apart. There's this quote I highlighted where the narrator says, Luke is like those Russian dolls. One secret fits into another. He's a gumball, soft at the center, I'm sure, but with a thick shell that takes you forever to suck. You have to accept him like this, with his cloaks, his closed doors, his dark hidden dungeons. And that's exactly how reading this book feels. Every chapter changes your understanding of him. What really surprised me, though, wasn't that this is Luke's story. Not really. It's a story about parents. The narrator had loving parents and lost one of them. Luke never really had them. His father is abusive. His mother has been gone for years. And then there's another quote that completely destroyed me, where it says, Luke knows very well that paper mothers, even hundreds of them, can never equal a real one. I had to close this book for a minute after reading that, because suddenly everything made sense. Luke isn't obsessed with the sea, he's obsessed with finding somewhere his mother still exists. And that's a completely different thing. I also love how this book writes grief. It never announces itself, never these huge speeches. Nobody says I'm devastated. Instead, the narrator reads to his unconscious mother every single day. He plays music for her, he lets her smell flowers, he opens the windows so she can hear the waves. Because what else can you do? You can't fix a coma, but you can sit beside someone. And somehow these quiet moments hit me harder than any dramatic scene the writer could have written. There's this one scene I can't stop thinking about, where Luke finally walks into the narrator's mother's hospital room, and at first he can't even cross the doorway. Then eventually, he quietly walks over, takes her hand, and starts warming it. Nobody explains why. Nobody says Luke wishes he had a mother like this. The book trusts you to understand. And I love books that do that. It never tells you how to feel, it simply lets you observe people. Another thing I found really interesting is dreams. The narrator hates dreaming. His nightmares are terrifying, so terrifying that he deliberately avoids sleep. Luke is the complete opposite. He believes dreams are where truth lives. There's this line, dreaming has always been a natural release for Luke, a way to skirt around the horrors of reality. One thing I found fascinating is how it treats dreams. Most books use dreams as foreshadowing, or symbolism or horror, but Luke generally believes dreams are another way of understanding reality. There's this line where he says that the solution to every problem came to him in a dream. When I first read that, I thought, okay, maybe that's just Luke being Luke. But then I started thinking about Carl Jung, and Jung believed dreams weren't random, and he believed that they were messages from the unconscious, not predicting the future, but revealing things about ourselves that our unconscious mind either ignores or can't fully process. That's exactly how Luke approaches dreams. He doesn't see them as fantasy, he sees them as conversations, as another language. And what's interesting is that the narrator is the complete opposite. He avoids sleep because it terrifies him, because he gets nightmares. But Luke seeks sleep because he thinks the truth lives there. They're looking at the same thing, but one sees nightmares while the other sees maps. I suddenly stopped thinking about dreams. I started to think about books and art and poetry and painting and religion and even therapy. All the different ways we try to make sense of our emotions that ordinary language can't explain. And then there's the sea itself. And I don't think the sea is a setting, I think it's a character. Sometimes it's a mother, sometimes it's memory, sometimes it's escape, sometimes it's death, and sometimes it's hope. The meaning keeps changing depending on who's looking at it, and somehow it always feels believable. The weirdest part is what happened after I finished it. I didn't immediately start another book. Instead, I started listening to music, and suddenly songs I'd been known for years sounded completely different. Beach House's Devil's Pool, or Lana Del Rey's Lost at Sea. None of these songs are about this novel, but I couldn't hear them in any other way, especially Devil's Pool. There's this line, "You're just too far away for talking." And that's exactly what the narrator experiences, eventually. He reaches a point where words stop working. He can't argue Luke out of his beliefs. He can't fix him. All he can do is stay. And honestly, I think that's what the novel's really about. It's about staying. Staying beside somebody in a hospital room, staying beside your best friend even when you don't know what's going on or how to understand them or how to make them come back to reality. Staying hopeful when hope feels ridiculous, staying kind when nothing seems to change. Nobody saves anybody in this book. That's what makes it feel so real. Love isn't presented as something that fixes people. Love is simply refusing to leave. I don't know if this book will work for everyone. It's quiet, it's slow, it's much more interested in people and the plot. But I can tell you this, I finished it, closed the book, and for the next few hours, I kept thinking about Luke. Not because he was mysterious, but because he felt real. And honestly, I think that's the highest compliment I can give any novel. Not because it entertained me, not that it shocked me, but that it quietly changed the way I look at grief, friendship, and even the songs I've been listening to recently. If you've read The Boy Who Belonged to the Sea, I'd genuinely love to hear what you think about it, because I have a feeling everyone finishes this book carrying something different. Thank you.